Hi guys, so I just wanted to come on here and be super transparent and kind of explain what happened in my last video and why I took it down. So first of all, I wanted to say I absolutely apologize. It was not my intention to come across the way that I came across. I would like to explain my reasonings as to why I handled the reading the way in which I did. So if you weren't familiar, it was the reading that I did on Ari, Ethan, and Lily J. I went into that reading thinking, okay, everyone has talked about this situation to death. They're probably really stressed out. Let me make it fun and lighthearted. That was my goal. Now, I agree. Watching it back, I could see you guys are right. I probably here missed the mark pretty hard. I can see how some of the language I use perhaps is a little bit too hard hitting. I agree. I was a little heavy handed than I should have been. Again, my goal here was to make it kind of fun and lighthearted, but I definitely missed that mark. Like I own that. I apologize. You guys are right. Sometimes you really need to watch your stuff back. I did not watch this video back. That's probably the mistake I made. So you guys are right. And I appreciate you guys for holding me accountable for that. I'm not mad at all. And I know I'm getting a ton of hate and I own it. I have been doing this for almost 8 years and it's not the first time I got a ton of hate. It won't be the last. And it comes with the job. So I'm not going to be upset that people are upset about me or upset at me. I own it. I can handle it. I'm an adult. But I do want to apologize. That really wasn't my intention. I was kind of looking at it from a perspective of like the tea. Like my goal with that video was to try to have it be like everybody is gathered together, spilling the tea, like talking, gossiping type of thing. But looking back, I'm like, yeah, I probably should have, like, it's such a heavy situation that I'm like, yeah, I probably should have handled it more like I do like the true crime. You guys are right. So, I'm not perfect. But I want to be clear that my intention wasn't to like make light of it. Also, I'm not like a giant Ariana Grande fan. Like I didn't even like her last album. I don't really listen to her. I didn't see Wicked. I don't like Wicked. And I don't even think I've been very kind. I mean, I haven't been mean, but I don't think I've been like super, whatever to her. In fact, in my past videos, I think I was maybe a little bit harsh on her. So I'm like, I don't really think that's fair, but I understand why you would think that, but I don't think that that's accurate. Like I said before, there were some people saying like, oh, you were just upset that she insulted social media. I do think the article is pretentious. That is my opinion. I've dealt with a lot of people who have PhDs who are pretentious about social media. It did come across that way. When people were saying like, oh, you're calling her a narcissist, let me clarify that because I don't think that she's a narcissist. Basically what I was saying is it felt like when I was reading the article, she was concerned about what people were thinking about her the entire time. Like, how do I explain this? Like when I was reading the article, the way she wrote it out was confusing to me because she was describing things through people not noticing things about her, which to me was a strange way of wording it. Perhaps it's worded, in a way in which I can't comprehend, or, maybe it's an issue with, the way I dissect things. I am very detail oriented and sometimes I can hyper focus on one specific part and get lost. And so perhaps I misinterpreted the article. Perhaps the way I interpret it is differently than her intentions. And maybe you guys are right there too, but that's how I feel. I felt like it was so centered around people not noticing things about her that I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me because that's not how I think. But we're all different people. And so I respect the way other people think. And, for me, maybe narcissistic wasn't the word to use, although I think I probably should have worded it as like, I felt like she was self-focused in that moment. And it was confusing to me as to how she was trying to relate the self-focus to the relationship. I got confused and lost. But again, maybe it's a me thing. I own that, I'm very transparent. But the reason I took the video down, first of all, I stand behind a lot of the energy that I read in the reading when it comes to the dynamic. First of all, girl, do not think for a minute that I am team Ari and Ethan. I said that multiple times. And yeah, again, watch my past Ari readings. Ari fans have literally said so many nasty things about me because of the videos, told me that I was like clout chasing on Ari and like milking the thing. Like I've had horrible things said from Ari fans. So I'm not really sure where that's coming from, but whatever. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, the video. So yeah, so my intention here was to kind of showcase why Ethan is the problem. Watching the video back, I don't think I did a great job at that. Sometimes it's hard. I think what people don't understand is I'm in these people's energy and I'm morphing while I'm in the energy. I'm picking up on their energy and it's in me. So like, for instance, that part where like I felt like there was like this weird like clout chaser accusation, I was reading Ari. That's not me. And that's another thing that I feel like maybe that's on me. It's another mistake that I own, and I apologize for not being more transparent about that. When I'm in an energy, sometimes it's not necessarily what I'm feeling for me. Sometimes it's what I'm channeling. I think I probably should have done a better job of that. But I want to reiterate, like, I don't blame you guys for being upset about me, and I can handle the hate. And you guys are right. I definitely did not articulate myself in the way in which I should have. Like, absolutely. And again, I agree. The way I handled it, my thought process was like, oh, fun and lighthearted. And then it came across insensitive, which you guys are right. 100%. And that's why I took it down. But yeah, anyways, my focus on Ethan. So my goal was to make it so that people realize that it's Ethan that's the problem. And I tried to do that towards the end, but I agree with you guys. I don't think I articulated myself correctly. Because my goal was to showcase that Ethan, well, I called him a coward at one point because I felt like he was, how do I word this? He put a lot of the blame on her for things that he wasn't communicating. And then he took the coward's way out by allegedly cheating. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like my goal was to showcase that like her emotions and how they're all over the place were a direct reflection of his actions. But I honestly, I did not articulate that properly. Like there's no way you would understand that. And that's on me failing to, connect it for you guys. Cause like I definitely should have. It's hard when I'm doing so many things and I'm going so fast. And I agree with you guys. That was on me. Also, when it comes to the Ari thing, I was trying to point out the fact that she doesn't even really care that much about Ari or even like Ari's celebrity of it all. Like my point was being like, she's focused on Ethan, and I was trying to point towards Ethan and like steer away from Ari. But I can see how like when I got in Ari's energy and I was like shook, I can see how that like sort of made it like to the focus of like, the more like dismissive energy of like, because it seems like Ari had a dismissive energy, so I can see how that translated, and then I can see how I come across as being insensitive. It makes sense to me. It definitely makes sense to me. I agree with you guys. It's all on me. Like, but I will say, I want to reiterate that like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Ant, you're this, you're that. I'm getting called a lot of names, which is fine. You can call me whatever you want. That wasn't my intention. I'm in energy. When I'm in energy like that, listen, I'm not trying to be rude here, to anybody when it comes to celebrities, although I'm sure they don't really care. But sometimes you're in celebrities' energy and it's not the best energy to be in. And, I sometimes, I don't know how to word it. What's the word? It's like having an ick. I don't always deal with an ick properly. So, but it is on me and it is a reflection of me, and it definitely is, my job. I will say, I don't think it's fair to say that I, wasn't reading or anything like that. Like that I was reading, like there's a lot of parts of that I feel like if I articulated better, you probably would have understood a little bit easier. It is my fault for not articulating myself properly. And my intention wasn't to hurt anybody. And again, when I was reading the comments, I was like, when I was reading the comments, I was kind of shocked. I had to watch the video back. And then when I read your comments, I was like, you guys are right. Like because in my mind, the way I was expressing it and telling it to you made sense because it's in my mind. You know what I mean? I'm seeing the visions, I'm having the pictures, or I'm hearing whatever, you know what I mean? But there was a disconnect between what I was feeling and the way in which it was coming out. Like the way, yeah, so it's my fault. And I can understand if people are mad at me. And you know, I would have been mad at me too. But I'm also not going to be fake and be like, oh, well, no, I'm going to be honest with you guys. And I'm going to own it. Like, yeah, I definitely should have been more sensitive. I absolutely should have articulated myself better. And I failed at that. And I take failure very hard. Like, I work super hard. And when I fail, but I own it. I failed. I failed to articulate myself properly. I failed to really express what needed to be expressed. And I use a lot of words. It's so hard. It's like, this is something I struggle with a lot, is that articulation is sometimes really not my strong suit. And sometimes the words I use, to me, I understand them, but others, I have a habit. This is something that I've done, and I'm sure if you've been watching me for 8 years, you've seen this. I have a habit of using strong words and not, I don't want to say not respecting the weight of the word, but having a different opinion of the weight of that word. Like, to me, these are things that I talk about all the time in my real life and regular life, and I hear them quite often, but the average person is not going to be hearing things like this that often. So it's a heavier word. Do you know what I mean? And so whether it be a vulgar word or something more like, you know, accusatory, to me, I don't see it that serious. But that's a flaw in myself to not see it that serious. Just because something's normalized for me to hear thrown around a lot doesn't mean that it's normal. It also doesn't make it right. So that's another thing. You guys are right. I need to be more careful about my word usage. You know, I'm getting a little too comfortable with using some words and not explaining myself, you know, properly. So you guys are right. But yeah, I love you guys. I do think that there are parts of that reading that, if I articulate better, perhaps I could explain, but does it even matter at this point? I mean, do you guys want me to go through the reading and kind of explain what I was trying to say? I can do that if you want, or if you just want to call it a wash, call it a wash. I don't know. It's up to you. But I just wanted to say that I apologize. It is not my intention to make light of that in a sort of like mean way or anything like that. I was just trying to make the situation easy to digest and try to make it fun, but I failed, and I own that. And I love you guys, and I don't want anyone upset. Like, that's not my goal. Like, I don't want people to watch that video and feel upset or feel like mean or attacked or anything. That's not my goal. I just failed. You know, I failed to make something lighthearted and fun. I made it a little too rigid, and I needed to be careful, and I don't know if I was careful enough, especially during the holidays. You know, I know a lot of you guys were commenting, you know, oh, you know, it's the holidays, this isn't the time to do stuff. You're right. You know, I don't have the greatest of history with Christmas, for those of you who've been following me for a while, and it's a very hard time of year for myself. So you guys are also right about the timing of releasing, and I should have been more sensitive to people and their family. Like, you guys know, I have a lot of trauma with my family, so and Christmas I spend alone, so you're right about that as well. So all this to say is I hear you. I agree with you. I love you guys. And I'm always going to listen to you guys and try my best, but I really want you to know that was not my intention. And if you continue to hate on me, I'm okay with that. I own it. If you're going to leave a hate comment, go ahead. That's okay. Listen, I picked this job for a reason. I love my job, and I know that it comes with the territory, but I want you to know what my true intentions were, and that I own the failure that I made, and I made my bed, and I'm in it. And hopefully you guys can just hear me out. I appreciate it, to anybody that watched this video. But yeah, I love you guys. If there's anything you would like me to do, let me know. Okay, I'll read the comments. Just try to be a little bit kind. I know I failed, and I know I came across in a way in which was not my intention, but I would like to read the comments. And so if you can be just a little bit kind, it's okay if you're not, but I would, please, because I'm always trying to improve. Like, I want to improve my ability. I want to improve my channel, and I want to make you guys happy. And I can handle constructive criticism, and I definitely can adjust my ways and learn from my mistakes like anyone else. So hopefully I'm able to read the comments not too mean. I love you guys. Bye.